I'm Scott Miller. It's the 28th of September, 2022. It's Wednesday, and welcome to my vlog of daily life in León, Nicaragua. And today I decided I'm going to do a little bit of a different show because we have so many new people. By the time you see this, we should be over 1,600 subscribers. We are getting well over 50,000 views a month. We're way over 3,000 hours of views per month. I feel like my face is kind of turning blue for on the screen or something. And we got a really dark sky. Let me just show this. I don't know if you can really see it, but it was raining a minute ago and I like rushed out trying to get video. It should be pretty bright right now because of the time of day. There's just really heavy clouds. So hopefully we don't get rained on too much during this episode. I've been doing some really cool stuff, I think, in the last week. We went to Esteli and got some really good content. We've about to do some house stuff coming up in the coming days, and really enjoying that. I think tomorrow's episode is going to be fantastic. I've actually already filmed it. We get to go to do several different house tours and look at properties with prices for rental around León, which I think is going to be really big. So make sure you're staying tuned for that. I know a lot of people are really into that content. I mean, I am too. Like, it's a lot of fun. So that's a good one. And then we're doing another house on the 1st for sure. The 30th, we are not. So a couple things coming up. Oh, I'm in the shadows for real right now. These are the heavy trees. Between the clouds and the heavy trees, it is dark. We're gonna get some light on me here in just a minute. But today, because I had very little going on, I don't have a lot of news to report. I've got a couple little things to talk about at the end of the day, but for the most part, not a very news-heavy day. I want to talk about this channel. And the reason I want to talk about this channel is because coming up this month is kind of special. Whoop, there's a game going on behind me. This month is special for the channel because in 2019, before COVID hit, importantly, before I brought Alan and Rachel to Nicaragua, I started this vlog. Now, I had some content on the vlog. That's why I want to talk about a little bit of history, and I want to talk about what I'm going to be doing with the vlog starting in about a week or so, because I think it's going to be fun. So a little bit of history. This particular channel, those who've watched, you know, I have a lot of channels. I have a camera channel, I have a video game channel, I have a video game channel with the kids, I have a tech channel. My tech channel I've been doing for a long time and taking it very seriously. That's been around. And I have a couple channels with my name. I don't know why, just YouTube weirdness over the years. So I have two channels with my name, and both of them have some really old content going way back like 16 years. Mostly the other one. This one's not quite as old, but this one had some content that went way back as well. I've gone back because this channel has turned into my vlog and it's very busy. I've gone back and cleaned up a whole bunch of that old stuff. And so there's about 4 episodes that are really old. If you sort my videos, if you want, please go watch the old videos. That really helps the channel, by the way. If you go back and look at the really old ones, we have 4 episodes, I think, that are really old, and I think they're pretty good. There's the Bean Boozled one. That's like the very oldest one that we've kept. That is me and the kids when they were very little, just filming together doing the Bean Boozled game from Harry Potter. I've got one where I read, it's like 59 ways, so I can't remember how many ways, 100 ways to find a husband in 1959, something really hilarious. I think that one's good. I read some funny things. There's just like a couple of these funny, really old things, and they just kind of stayed on the channel because they were good enough. I didn't want to get rid of them. And then starting in early October, mid-October 2019, I started using this channel because it wasn't heavily used as my vlog. The other channel mostly had some travel stuff, but my old travel was all just raw footage. So it's just clips of places we went. And I think it's interesting if you're my family that we can look back and be like, oh, look at these videos from places we went. But it's not polished, and it's not really meant for you guys or for any audience. It's meant for me to immediately share things with my dad that I'm filming, or for us to have memories of places we've been, that kind of stuff. And it's all public stuff, so feel free if you're interested. And I use it to post raw content now. So like, I'm gonna go to a concert sometime this week. I will record that and put it there. I go to a parade, and maybe somebody wants to be able to watch the entire parade. I'll just stick the parade there. The edited stuff goes here on the show for you guys, right? So it Mostly it's for me. I don't want to throw away that footage and never be able to see it. So that's what makes me feel good, is knowing it's there and it can be shared. And it does get some views, just not very many, and that's fine. But if you'd like to go subscribe and have that extra content from this channel, you get a little bit more of just things that I film, feel free to go subscribe there. You look below, it's the one with the blue background and the cartoon face of my, cartoon drawing of my face that Valentina did. I love that drawing, it's fantastic. And I do use it for a lot of things. Okay, but so for this channel, I started the vlog. And originally I had a blog, this goes back 22 years. I started blogging basically daily. And originally it was just kind of me keeping notes for myself, but really quickly it became a way for me to talk to my parents because I lived away from home and I was very busy. And so I had this blog and I just did it every day, and eventually lots of people followed it and I was getting tens of thousands of readers a day. It got a little bit crazy. And after about almost 20 years of doing that, I discovered that I really liked vlogging, and it let me use a different process. It lets me wander, lets me get away from my computer. That's a really big thing. I spend my days working at a computer, and anything that allows me to get up and get away from my desk is a really big deal for me, because it's good for my eyes, it's good for my posture, it's good for my exercise, because, you know, my watch reminds me all day long, you've been sitting too long. So getting out and doing this kind of stuff is important for me from just a health and lifestyle perspective. And by the way, I don't know how much you can tell on the video, it is super dark. It just gets darker and darker. You're gonna see some lightning flashing. You can see the sky there. It's seriously dark. The colors should be getting the contrast, and like the green in the trees and the orange in my hat should be fantastic tonight. Hopefully it doesn't start getting to the point where we get noise from the sensor because it's so dark. This is nice. Standing out here, it's beautiful. I know I'm gonna get poured on any minute. So roughly the middle of October, I started irregularly doing some video vlog updates. And they're really short, like 1-2 minutes long. It's mostly me telling my dad, oh, this is what I did today. And it's really basic. That went on for a few weeks. And then in November, Rachel and Alan and I came to here in Nicaragua to bring Alan and Rachel for their first time. But Rachel was tagging along to help out. Alan was coming to evaluate Nicaragua as a place to move. For those who watch the show, you know that Alan lives here now and has for a while, more than a year. So this is a really big moment in all of our lives, because it is also the moment that triggered me to really reevaluate not having stayed in Nicaragua. And really that trip led to understanding Nicaragua a lot better, knowing what our options were a lot better, and led to where we are now, getting the entire family to move back, which has been, you know, obviously a tremendous part of our lives, and what has brought almost all of you to me here. I hear something that I think is rain in the distance, and I definitely see a lot of lightning. So I'm trying to get to where there's a little bit better light and you can see the sky. So it kind of ended up as a happenstance that starting the vlog 3 years ago essentially starts in like the first 3 episodes with the planning of our trip to come to Nicaragua. And so the vlog is in its entirety kind of the story of us figuring out that Nicaragua is the place we wanted to be as our forever home, or at least our foreseeable home, and that whole journey, that whole process. And obviously there's been lots of gaps. I did not do it every day for a really long time. I didn't start that until recently. I didn't start editing the show until recently. So all of the early ones, it is raining on me, by the way. All of the early episodes were done. I gotta start working my way towards home, but I don't want to go that way because of the road noise. So I am bound to get, oh no, it's coming down hard. I gotta go the short way home. Oh no, it's coming down hard now. Shoot, uh-oh, we have a problem. Okay, we're gonna come back to you guys. I didn't make it home yet, but I gotta show you what it looks like. That was 30 seconds max. Oh my gosh, that was a crazy downpour. Sorry, I had to cut the video short and push it off till the next day. There was no way I was gonna be able to continue doing that. That was nuts. It came on so fast. It really didn't last all that long either. So what I was saying, what I'm gonna do is I wanna go back and look at these episodes from 3 years ago, which are sporadic, right? So that's important. It's not like it's gonna be an everyday thing, but starting in about a week, what I want to do is go back and look at the old episodes and kind of bring you guys along a little bit, and I'll just mention like a little bit about them or talk about them, and then I'll link them in the description for that day. So it's like go back 3 years and you can, you know, and some of them, they're really short typically. So go back and see what's going on and kind of have that 3 years of recap. And I'll try to do that at the end of the episodes because I don't want to make it like too in your face and stuff. But I want to do it partially because I want to go back and see where we've come over 3 years. And Valentina's going to be working with me. She's already started. We're going to try to get like thumbnails and stuff done on those because all those early ones, they didn't have thumbnails. They don't have descriptions. There's all kinds of stuff. So we're going to try to go as we go and get them updated so that if you do want to go back and look at them or have comments about them and talk, like that, they'll be like real live episodes that you can do that with. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting and fun and a whole different look because we've been doing this for a while and now we have this opportunity to be like, let's see where we've come from and you know, rethink those decisions or see what our opinion has been after all this time. And I think there's going to be a few things in there that are pretty good. Mostly that early stuff is really terrible. And I may go back and fill in some gaps as well as we go. So we'll see. But I think that that's going to be interesting. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So this vlog has really kind of taken on a life of its own for those who are relatively new, which is basically everybody, right? In, I think, April, we had 300 subscribers and we're now well above 1,600. So that's a lot of percentage growth in 6 months. So pretty much everyone who's subscribed here, all the people that are really active, were not here through the growth phases, through the early, like, didn't know what we were doing. And there's a lot of, I think, really interesting content, and I'm really sad now that I wasn't doing this every day through 2021, because that was when we moved to Nicaragua, and there was like all that like stuff going on in our first everything. So much of that I missed because I was just busy, and what was the purpose of a daily vlog, and I didn't have for a while a good way to process it. So that took a while, and then I kind of realized that people really were watching and got into, towards the later in 2021, getting into the doing it every day, really diligently thing, and started being like, well, I need to edit it because it's really raw. So all the first 2 years are just raw edits. Like often I don't even have, I don't even clip the start and the end. There's no titles, there's no nothing, right? I just turned on a camera. The early ones are me sitting at my desk. They're terrible. Light's terrible, the camera's terrible, everything. I didn't have a GoPro at that point. I mean, I had a really old one that I never used, and they were rough, but I wasn't expecting anything. It was literally just me talking to my dad as fast as I could. And then towards the end of 2021, I really started like, you know, well, okay, I could get Final Cut Pro and try that out, and I could start adding some titles and some lower thirds and stuff, and I played around so that there's a bunch of like me learning to do that stuff because I never used that stuff before. So there's like a lot of learning curve going on in there. And it definitely became a solid show towards the end of 2021, maybe around September. It was like I had other projects going on. I was like, okay, I'm learning things for these other projects, so it applies here. And then somewhere around March or April, we had so in January is when we had the explosion of people. That was really January 23rd. We got the house in Leon, and everyone started watching at that point. Like those episodes just blew up. So it's really noticeable that January 23rd, things changed from a where we were, what we were doing perspective. Like it garnered some interest, but it wasn't until about April that I was like, oh, we're going to take a trip to Chinandega and Corinto. I'm going to bring the camera, some friends, and we're going to film a bit. And that episode was just explosive. And in my channel perspective, right? Like, I don't know, 700, 800 views instead of 100. And it was like, oh, showing things around Nicaragua really does interest people, right? And Albert was with me, and he does a bunch of social media stuff, and he was like, this is really, really good. And at that time, I remember he was like, 300 subscribers? That's amazing. There aren't very many channels like that in Nicaragua with 300 people. So it was like, oh, this could be something. Like, people are really, maybe it's even important. Maybe we should put some effort into it. So that's where I really think of starting the channel. When I did the Corinto episode, that was me for the first time making an effort, and it was the episode that triggered me to say, okay, we need to really make an effort. And even then, we didn't have thumbnails yet, right? We weren't doing it. Valentina was like, once in a while she'd watch an episode, she made the logo, but that was it. So we really stepped up the game with them. Then we went back and made thumbnails for older ones. Now you can go pretty far back in at least 2022, and we will get those all filled in. 2021 basically has none, and 2020 has none. We're trying to get 2019 right now, and then eventually we'll fill in the gaps with stuff as we go. But that's kind of, now that, you know, the channel is growing so much, and thank you to everyone. Like, it's amazing. It's continuing to evolve, and for me, it feels like, because I do this every day, it feels like, wow, it's been going for a long time. This is a lot of work all the time. But in actual time, it's like, oh, 6 months ago, we didn't know this was going to be a thing at all. And a year ago, I wasn't even doing it daily because it was like, nah. And we, somewhere around the Corinto episode is when we're like, oh, we've got to do this and have the 7-day buffer. I don't remember when that happened, but I talk about it in the video, that we started doing 7 days in advance, so that there was a way to get the thumbnails out, so that there was a way to make sure that the episodes were ready and not missing a day just because I was busy. And we wanted to start getting them scheduled so they come out. For those who are new and haven't noticed a pattern, it's 9 a.m. every day, 7 days a week on the East Coast US. So Eastern time, 9 a.m. Central time, 8 a.m. Mountain time, 7 a.m., which is my time here, and 6 a.m. Pacific. And if you're in other places, do your math. Every day, that's when the episodes come out, like clockwork, right? So you can grab your cup of coffee, sit down, and know that you can join me for a morning of me rambling while you have your coffee. And I like to think I'm very low-key and chill and fun and have nice scenery. Okay, today it's corn, but you never know what you're gonna get. Okay, there was also a corn festival recently. The show's corny. That's the theme of that. There's a lot more corn on the show than you might expect in a show about Nicaragua, but there is a lot of corn in Nicaragua. So, but surprisingly, I haven't done any filming by rice. There's a lot of rice here. There was something about the 2019 episodes that I wanted to make sure I said, and now I can't remember what it was. But it's been a really fun journey, and I'm really excited to see where things are evolving and other channels that I'm working on. Oh, for those who are interested, I want to point out that this vlog started in 2019. Effectively, there's those 4 episodes that are older. And a lot of the early stuff was what turned into shorts. So they weren't shorts at the time, but now if you go back in the shorts channel, there's stuff that goes way back, like Liesl eating her shrimp po' boys and them playing at the arcade doing video games and stuff. Some of those weren't originally shorts. They were short, but they weren't shorts. YouTube retroactively turned them into shorts, so the short channel has been around. For those who watch this channel and just do so on like on a Android TV or something, right? You may not be aware that we also do shorts on here. A lot of you who are seeing shorts, which is not the ones watching this because this isn't a short, they may not realize there's a long format. They both get different audiences, and they get roughly equal viewership from a number of views perspective. Obviously, the long format like this gets massively more time views. The shorts get slightly more views. I have terrible tinnitus in this ear all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on. But it hit me all of a sudden. It's really distracting. So if you're watching this and have not checked out the shorts, take a moment, maybe go to a computer, if you're looking at the main page for my vlog, youtube.com/ScottLMillerVlog, it'll pop up and go to uploads or whatever, or scroll down. There's a couple different ways, and it'll show the shorts. And if you've not checked them out, those happen generally in real time or really close to real time. Sometimes I'll be out at a concert or caught in the rain or find a parade, and I will film and upload within an hour or two, or sometimes while I'm at an event, depending if I have Wi-Fi or whatever. And that allows you to, 1, follow along in real time, and 2, see potentially a bunch of content that you may not normally see, because I grab different things that way, and some things are interesting that way, and sometimes you only have time to grab one thing. And so you do that. Now, for those who also know, I'm planning on getting the GoPro 11 in December, and that has a much bigger sensor and allows me to capture 4K horizontal and 4K vertical at the same time, and then edit it later to be short style content for here and on TikTok, and long style format horizontal for here normal and on Rumble, which we also upload all of these to Rumble. And believe it or not, have very little following there, but have an awful lot of views and likes over there, not compared to YouTube, but way more than we expected. I have no idea who's watching over there. There's no discussion, which, hey guys, what's going on? Have some discussion, ask some questions, do something. But it is surprising. So we do that to get the information out, and all the Rumble ones link back here to YouTube as well. But okay, so before I did that stuff, we did the show Take Flight, which is not 100% done yet. But in 2019, I took my nieces to Europe for 6 weeks, 5 weeks, and we did. It was for my niece Emily's combined high school and college, junior college graduation. She had her degree from her associates and her associate's degree from college. And as a graduation present, my wife Dominica and I took her and her sister to Europe for quite some time. We went to Greece, Italy, Switzerland, France, and Spain, Catalonia. And at the time filmed quite a lot. Now it was on an old camera. It was on the Panasonic Lumix FC300, which is a point and shoot. It was, you know, I didn't have a GoPro at the time, tons of stuff, like very, very limited. And I had not started editing anything yet. So it was filming with no clear what it's going to be used for. And I then went back and so far have 10 episodes made. There's 11 or 12 total for that trip. I'm getting close to being done. And maybe by the time you see this, I'm actually kind of hopeful that somewhere around when this posts, that the last episodes may be coming up. But it's taken me years to do them, and they're totally different than this, but it's like travel stuff that I was doing. And around the same time, Rachel and I did some recording that we didn't end up using, but we were talking about doing a travel show. COVID hit shortly thereafter, and she ended up moving to Europe, so she's not available to do the show with me anymore. But that was our plan. So we kind of had this idea that we're going to do a travel show, and it's going to be vlogging, my gosh, all in 2019. So I was doing some recording. And you can see that stuff before I knew how to edit, before I really knew how to shoot. It was like my practice stuff, but it's a lot of it in Greece and a bit in Italy and France and Spain. So it's some cool footage, and there's only a few episodes and they're not real long. So anyone who's interested, it would be awesome if you went over to Take Flight, subscribe there. I've only got 300 subscribers there. I don't put out content every day. It's like once every 2 months. So it's not very intensive, which makes it hard to get people. But if some of you guys want to go over and follow that, like those videos, take a look at them. They're fun. They have good music. We do some funny things. We go some neat places. It'd be great. I'd love it if you guys check that out. I'm very proud of the work I did there because it's where I was learning, right? It's not groundbreaking editing or anything. Neither is this channel. What are we talking about? But it's and I did it all without the advanced tools I have today. I didn't have Motion VFX. I didn't have any of that stuff. I didn't have Final Cut Pro. So it's all very, very manual effort. And Valentina's been working with me on those ever since then. So I just wanted to give kind of this background, because so many of your people are new, about the vlog, where we're going, what we're doing. Coming up, we're going to Costa Rica very soon. I know I've said that a number of times recently, but the government clock is ticking and our ability to push it off is effectively over. So we could, in theory, push it off a few weeks, but only a few weeks. But we have booked a hotel for the 11th in San Jose. So at this time, we are in motion to be in San Jose, Costa Rica for most of the week, starting on the 11th, which is, at the time I'm recording this, getting pretty close. It's a little bit under 2 weeks from the time you see this, but not very long at all. So hopefully that will be really cool. I've never been to San Jose. I've been to Costa Rica a couple times. I've never been to San Jose, which is supposed to be a fantastic city, and I'm really excited to go there. We are taking the kids, very excited to take them and do things like we're going to go to the Gold Museum, the pre-Columbian Gold Museum, which is supposed to be amazing. I want to do some city walks. I want to see some barrios. I want to enjoy the cool weather. I mean, today is beautiful. This is really nice here, but having actual cool weather, not just, you know, mild weather, it's nice to get those breaks from time to time. We really do appreciate it. And the kids have not had it in a long time. I was in Guatemala where I had it for a week, but here there's been no actual cold for quite some time. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment below, start some discussion, ask your questions. I know today's not really one to ask much about, but feel free. Talk about those early vlog episodes. I want to know how bad they are. No, I don't. Please be kind. I know they're bad. There's no like, no, check them out, they're great. No, they're bad, but they're short and they're interesting in the context of this is how we got the vlog here. And I love that you guys are along for this journey. Oh, also be aware, if you do go through the old ones, some of them are out of order due to complexities in how Google does its sorting. I've done my best to try to fix those where I can, but there's no way to really do it overall, especially because they were uploaded, I think, out of order in many cases. And if any of you are interested in directly sponsoring the channel, you can go below. There's a link to buy me a coffee, and you can give money, and it literally sends it to me with the false intent of buying a coffee. It really just goes into my pool of paying my bills. This is actually a kind of expensive show to produce. I need cameras and motion VFX stuff. It's like $500 of just motion VFX tooling that I use to make this show. This stuff adds up, and I really appreciate all the support that I get. But just like and subscribe and comment, that does so much. And if you are so inclined, watch some of the older episodes or take flight and subscribe there. All of that helps. Thank you. I will see all of you for more exciting content, not talking about my vlog, but talking about Nicaragua and my day tomorrow. But before I completely leave, oh, I almost forgot. Tonight, Lisa, the one thing that happened today, Lisa and I watched Zombieland Double Tap. That is the second Zombieland movie. It's on Netflix. Lisa and I tend to like zombie movies together. Zombieland is a pretty good 2-movie series. I don't foresee them making a third one, but the first one was good. We enjoyed it, and this is my first time seeing the second one. It was good. Every bit, I would say, as good as the first one. Has good characters. The fact that it's a zombie movie is almost an aside, which is kind of nice. It's just a normal movie set in a zombie setting. And lots of really good actors and stuff in it, so if you're interested, it's definitely one to potentially check out if you have that Netflix. I will see all of you tomorrow.